up, guys? It's Connery from Out of Work. Today, we'd like to reintroduce our John boat to you guys. I know a couple of guys have been asking about where's the John boat? How come there's so many kayaks all of a sudden? How come there's so much of this and that? But we love the John boat videos. I'll give you guys a rundown of what happened. Since last year, we've been doing a lot of kayak stuff. We've been doing a lot of the bass stuff, bass fishing tournaments. We still do a lot of the white bass stuff. It's just we don't really record them anymore. And some people say they've missed the John boat, and I do too. I mean, the kayak is cool and all, but you know, there's been times where I'm just like, God damn, I wish I was in the John boat. So the John boat hasn't been in the lineup, you can say, because of the tournaments. And we've used the John boat just simply to go out and scout out some locations, just so we can paddle out there, and that's not against the rules for us. So we've been able to do that. But in terms of white bass trips, hybrid trips, things of that nature, we haven't been really doing. And we're gonna try to get back into more of that this spring and summer and the fall time. Especially the fall time, there's a lot of topwater action that we've missed. We've loved to share with you guys, but we weren't prepared that day. We didn't have camera equipment on us that day, that type of stuff. So this year there's gonna be a lot more of that. There's gonna be a lot more just hardcore fishing, guys. We love fishing. So if you guys follow the channel for a long time, you guys know it doesn't matter. We catch everything: crappie, sand bass, hybrids, walleyes. Now it's all about the bass and the kayaks, things like that. And we were doing pretty good in the fishing world too. So that's why we were still doing the kayak stuff. But as for today, this video is going to be more about re-rigging the John boat here. Because the John boat needs some R&R. It's been kind of neglected. We haven't really been maintaining it. So today is all about just rewiring the John boat. And that's one thing I know a lot of people were asking questions about, is what's on the boat. How did you guys wire it? What parts did you guys get? Where can I get it? All that type of stuff. So I'm just going to go through a quick rundown of the boat again. This is via you guys are Starker 2017, subject to change, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I'm just going to start in the front and go to the back again. I don't have my fish finder on there, but that's probably going to get a good piece too. But anyhow, this is a trolling motor. Duh. This is the Cabela's 12 volt. It's a 50-pound thrust, which is pretty high for most trolling motors. I got it straight from Cabela's. It's the only place you can get it. Cabela's.com. It's foot control. I love it, you know. I've beaten the crap out of it, and it's still going. So, we got that. We do a lot of night fishing, which is something we're going to want to do this year more of. I love striper fishing at night. It's an addiction that, I don't know, I'd be 80 years old. I'd probably still do it. But when you striper fishing at night, you need some type of a light source, so you don't run into the rocks and things like that. Or you can use to signal other boats. You know, don't get too close to me. Or some of them are screaming by, and you got to tell them, hey, there's people here. So you got that going. I mean, that on top of this. This is the nav lights. You got to have nav lights when you're at night. Ranger's going to give you a ticket if you don't. This is the GPS for the fish finder. This is a badass GPS system. This is a fish finder that you're supposed to plug in here. I got the ram mount. It's a 2.5-inch ram mount. And that's how I have it on there. It's just right through the side of the boat. Okay, and I got an anchor. You gotta have an anchor. I did not build a front deck because, okay, a lot of people want to build a front deck for a boat. And I've fished enough boats with a front deck to say that it is really good, but not for this boat. Let me explain. When you have a small boat, okay, when you got a small boat and you only have 9.9 horsepower in the back, the lighter the boat, the faster the boat, the more capable the boat. Okay, so you want to be on a diet. You want your boat to be on a diet. You want to carry everything you need, but at the same time, don't carry anything extra. A front deck would add easily 30 pounds. Easily. The way I would have built it, easily 30 pounds. The carpet, or that rhino liner stuff, easily 30 pounds to the front. Can't have it. In my opinion, you can't have it. because this anchor is only a 15-pound anchor. But if I know I'm not fishing a river, or if I know I'm not going to be staying put, I leave that sucker at home, okay? I don't take it. Or if I get there, I'll put it in the truck, whatever. But I don't take it because, give you an example of why. Okay, this boat, if you strip it down, no battery, nothing, okay? No battery, nothing, with an upgraded prop, it will run 23 miles per hour. I've proven it, okay? When I'm the only one fishing, I'm fishing for white bass, I want to make a long run, that's what I do. 23 miles per hour, it's freaking scary in this boat. It starts, twitching. The body of the boat actually twitches when you're going over waves, okay? So 23 miles per hour. You can say that's the maximum potential of this boat. As soon as you start putting weight on there, you put the battery in, you lose 1 mile per hour. You put this junk in here, you might lose a half a mile per hour. Okay, so you put this in there, you're probably gonna lose another half. You put 2 people in there, you're down to 17 miles per hour. Okay, so that gives you some idea of why I never built the front. I kept it the way it is, and I hate it, but at the same time, I gotta have it. I gotta have that speed. Because a lot of the lakes that I fish, they are big lakes. We do make 3-4 mile runs, and in open water, big water type stuff too. So it's you don't wanna you have to have the speed. Put it that way. So that's the end of that rant. Let's go down a little bit. Here's the control panels. It's an 8-bank control panel, which I think is pretty much giving up on me. It's been in use for about 3-4 years. It's time to just replace it. A lot of the controls are not working, or they're shoddy, not really working perfectly. So that's that. The replacement is over there. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. Here's the battery. It is the EverStart Max 29 DC. It's a 29 size, deep cycle marine, and I've already replaced it once. The last one I had was good for 2 years, and I'm on the warranted one, which is hopefully going to be good for another 2 years. And here's the wiring. It's kind of a mess. We're going to clean that up when we get to the next one. So that's that, and that closes right over like that. So that's pretty cool, and that's something that, like I said, you don't have to do all this. The boat run 23 miles per hour, but this is a kind of a luxury thing. You gotta have at least the back one to put the batteries in to get to the control panels. So that's that. We have navigation lights that I had to put in myself. Nav lights, and here's your nav light. Show you guys. And the cool thing about this is very cost effective. Okay, so we have nav lights, the 9.9 Mercury 4-stroke, and we have a bilge pump and a 3-gallon gas tank. 3 gallons of gas on this boat will get you, I would say 12 miles. 12 miles. So you can cover 12 miles of whatever you want to do. So let me get my trash out. Show you guys. Okay, this is running an upgraded prop too. Okay, this is a 9.5 pitch prop that I had to buy. Put on there. Because a lot of people who buy these engines, they actually use them as almost like kicker motors, where they're trolling and they're actually pushing a big boat. So they'll use like a smaller pitch prop. But for us, it's our main motor, and we want the top end. So you go a little bit higher. It's actually better for it. Well, that's pretty much it. Oh, yeah, power pole. That's the other thing. Power pole right here. This is where the power pole micro unit goes. I did a review on that, and it's currently not on the boat, but the bracket's here. We have to run power to it somehow. Okay. And then here is the onboard charger. This is a great onboard charger. I haven't had any problems with it. It was about $100 bucks, right around $100 for a 2-bank. Because you don't know when you're gonna put a second bank in here. At least at the time, I was thinking I might have to put a second bank in case I run out of juice. but that big battery's been doing pretty good so far. Okay, so okay, back to where we were. Here is the new control panel I'm putting it in. I'm trying to put in today. I'm going to run you guys through some of the things I like about this and why I'm upgrading to this one. This one gives you a voltage readout. It gives you a USB charger output for all your GoPro power needs and things like that, or iPhone chargers, whatever. You know, it's USB. And this one's for your cigarette lighter. I don't know, whatever you want to do with that. All these are 10 amp fuses or 10 amp breakers, which is what I prefer, breakers over fuses. And if you wire everything right, you should never ever have any problems with it. So there it is, 10 amps on that side, and that's pretty much it. I mean, a lot of people want to know about these hatches. These hatches are the I keep on forgetting. It's kind of a cool name, but I'll annotate it. I'll put it at the bottom in the descriptions. Like I said, I'll put all this in the description so you guys can go and get it. Even my cool camera case here, you guys can go and get it. But yeah, the plan is to rewire this thing. I did a pretty ghetto job first time around because it was my first boat. You know what I mean? And you really just wanted to get it out on the water. So it wasn't like thought about, made, and used. It was kind of used and abused, and then you're kind of like, okay, I need a light. Let's put a light up. What kind of wires do I use? I don't know. Just get something to work. So you find some random wire and you just use it. So that's how that one went down. And now that I've ran wiring on my kayak, and I think I did a real good job with it. I'm gonna start doing the boats. Okay, so I hope this comes out really nice. All right, guys. This is gonna be basically the parts that you're gonna need to wire a John boat. At least this is my recommendation. I'm not writing a lot of high-powered stuff like super hardcore trolling motors and nothing like that. So this is not including the trolling motor wiring. Okay, this is just accessories, lights, fish finder type stuff. All right. So basically, what you want to do is try to keep it as simple as you can. You have a battery, which is over here, and you have to run it to the control panel, and then from the control panel, it diverts power via these breakers to all your crap that's on your boat. Okay, so fish finder, power pole, headlights, navigation lights, you know, whatever you might have. So, you know, etc. Okay, so basically, you have power. You have a positive. You want to check your battery on this. The batteries are always different. My positive is on the left, and it's denoted by a plus sign, and the negative is on the right, denoted by the left, or the minus sign. Okay, so that's also kind of going to be kind of a universal thing for the guys that don't know much about electrical wiring. But this is the diagram for the panel switch, and as you can see, we have a plus here, and we also have a plus here. So that should be wired up to the red line, and we have a negative here, and we have a negative here, which should go to the negative line. Okay, and that would light up this whole thing. And it's also a good idea to just wire this up and make sure this thing's working before you do the whole thing, because it might not actually be working and you might have to return this. But for the sake of making this video, I'm just going to wire everything up, because that's what everyone's going to do anyways, right? So with that being said, let's work on the positive side of the circuitry, and then we'll come back to the negative side. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm going to run to my light. My light that's right there, okay, that light right there. So if I'm going to run that off of this one, the first one, what I'll do is I would run power off this terminal. I'll probably have to use one of these, run it to a red line, high power red line, and then come in and use one of these connectors to splice into this red line and this blue line. Okay, and off of this connector, this is the output. Okay, so that's the output to whatever. So all the power comes into this line, these two lines. What was it? Red and blue, and then from there, when you press the switch, power comes out of here and it'll go to this white line. Okay, and you need to wire up to this white line. Well, obviously you can't just wire it up. This white line is going to need another connector, one of these connectors, on it, and then you'll have to pull this white line through all these cracks and crevices all the way out to that light. And once again, you're going to use another one of these connectors to get the connection done, and it'll finally get to the light. The power will get to the light. But on the return side of that light, you're going to have another one of these connectors on that, because it's 2 connectors per connection, because you have 2 wires here. Which reminds me, I probably don't have enough connectors. I might have to go to the store and get some more connectors. Alright, so that's that. And then on the return line, it doesn't actually go directly to this control panel anymore. It needs to go to one of these. A bus. And you can get these for about 15 bucks. This is a bus. A lot of people use it in many different ways, but for us, for this project, we're going to use it for ground terminals or ground termination. So what that means is, after you come out of all these, you know, and go to all your accessories, it all has to come back to a negative terminal on the battery. Well, you should not run everything to this. It's kind of a clusterfuck if you do that. So it comes back to a ground terminal strip. All right, so it just comes into one of these, and then you'll run one of them off and run back here. It's easier to manage and things like that, so trust me, it's just easier to manage. Okay, so once you get that done, you're gonna have to finish things off with this. What are these things? It's a wire conduit. Everybody knows what this is? They sell them in 10-foot rolls. You can get them in different lengths, I guess. But I bought 2. Basically, this is a 14-foot John boat, and I'm trying to run 10 feet on each side. So that might not even be enough, to be honest with you. I might actually need 15 feet on each side, but yeah, now that I think about it, it might be a little short. But hey, it's all right. Might have to go buy another one. Oh well, you know. So without further ado, I'm gonna start wiring my stuff up. Here is the other thing that you should pay attention to, because I didn't do it the first time. Okay, so depending on what wire gauge for those who don't know is basically just the thickness of the wire. Okay, so wire gauge 14 gauge is what I recommend, because they're running it quite a distance. It's doing 10 feet across the boat. And you don't know, maybe later on you might actually take that light off wherever it is that's pulling next to no power, and you might want to put something that drains a lot of power. So instead of rewiring everything, you already have enough power to do it. Plus, if you're going to buy what I did, buy the 100-foot spool, stick with 14 gauge. It'll do everything you need. It's got enough to do lights and fish finders and the works. So but the thing is, if you go to 14 gauge, make sure everything else is 14 gauge, okay? Primarily the connectors. It'll just make your life a little easier if you get the correct connectors. And once again, these are the connectors that I recommend. I stumbled upon them just kind of by accident, but these are the ones that I recommend. They are waterproof butt connectors, or spade connectors and ring connectors. But they are awesome. What they do is basically, well, I'll give you the example on the spade connector. Is you put the wire in and you crimp it, where normally you would crimp all the connectors, but then you can heat shrink it, and when you heat shrink it, this plastic shrinks down real tight, and it's almost got like a glue or some type of a sealing substance in it that will give you a watertight seal, which is pretty cool, because most of the rust issues I see, it's actually on the copper wire itself and not really on the spade connector. Plus, the spade connector is pretty cool too. I don't know if it's stainless or not, but I haven't had these rust on me yet, which is a big deal, which is a must in my opinion for any marine application, which is exactly what we're in, because as you can see, these are all blue as well. So I don't know, for the guys that want to make color matches, there you go, boom, you're good. But for the most part, it's a good idea. You don't have to follow the convention of doing this, but it's just nice to have, because if you're gonna do it the second time like I am right now, it's just nice to do it right. All right, guys. Let me show you guys what I was talking about when I said the labels for current alerts. So I try to just, it's supposed to be a heat gun, I don't have one, so we use a torch. I'll have it set real low. Okay, you just need a heat source of some kind to make these guys shrink down. Yeah, distance. Kind of burning it, but like I said, I'm holding this camera as well, so it's not doing a real good job. But typically, I'm going to be doing this like this. There you go. See how good that looks? Once you're done, see how it's kind of oozing out the side a little bit. Yep. See it look right there. I burnt it a little bit, but typically I can do this real nice. And there you go. There's like your watertight seal right there. And I did burn the cable, like the wires up top a little bit, but still looks really good. And there you go. That's watertight. Highly recommend it. Here's another one I just did without holding the camera while trying to do it. As you can see, there's like a little oozing coming out the side right here. Look at this, man. It looks really good. You know? Just looks really good. Definitely watertight. Should be a corrosion-free connection for years. And like I said, once you do it the second time, you better do it right. Okay, so here is the wiring harness that I've done. And basically, I've stuck the 2 lines inside this other sheath. Not sheath, it's a, I forgot what it was called, but this protective thing. There's 2 lines inside, and I basically just tape it every foot or once it gets to the end, I actually round it off and I tape off the whole thing, as you can see, and that's how I want it right now. And basically on this John boat, you got these like ribs, and I just run it behind them, just kind of like that. I might actually close this gap even more, every 6 inches or so, but for right now it's every foot, and I run it all the way in, and it just runs across kind of like that. It'll come in here, comes through like this, and the control panel is going to be right here. So that's one side. I still got to do the back. I'm going to split that one wire over to this, and I'll run the other side over there. And I was right, 20 feet of this stuff. But this is definitely not enough, so I'll run to the store and get some more. Okay, and a day 1 recap. I've got to tell you guys at the beginning of the video, this is more like a 2-day project, because I already had to go to the store one time to get some more stuff. So found out I was short on some of these protective things, wire conduit. Basically, yeah, it's pretty much going to be, for anybody wanting to do this, it's going to be an 8-hour job. Okay, if you're going to be running as much equipment as I am, it's going to be a long job. And I already have this hole pre-cut because it's existing from my old one. But if you have to cut this too, you have to do these 2 bays. Definitely 2-day job, so just kind of plan accordingly. I just want to show you guys what I've done at the end of day 1. So basically, I got this wire run to this nav light, and nav light you gotta have for any John boat. They don't come stock with them. Power to the belch pump is run, at least the wiring, and wiring for the front nav, and wiring for the fish finder and the electronics is done. And I still gotta do the light up in front. And once I do that, I'm pretty much good to go. Run everything to this area. Give yourself an extra 2 feet of line. We'll fine tune it right at the end. Oh, I see I'm on my power pole power. And those are the other two that's all going to be running on that side. And once that's done, everything else should be okay. And we will be able to take it for a test run tomorrow night, hopefully. And see how she goes. Guys, I wanted to actually discuss this connector a little bit because it's very unique to the boat setup, because this is a connector that's for the power pole that I am running in the back here, but at the same time you can use it for like a live well or I don't know, any type of charger system. I mean, this guy's limits, but this is designed, at least in my opinion, it's not like, you know, the lights or the fish finders and the other things that are going to be kind of permanently there. This is for something that you're going to be moving on off the board, like, I don't know, whatever you might have. But it's a pretty cool connector that I found. It is a little on the pricey side. I think it's about 15 bucks. But the cool thing about it, it does come with a cap. That's a big deal for me, because I don't like my connectors inside to be corroded. It also comes with the other half. This. And it is keyed, so you have one big one and one small pin, so there's no way you can mess it up. So that's a cool thing too. But I just really like it. Just wanted to share it with you guys, and maybe you guys will use it. I've used it on my kayak, and I'm going to be using it here. And if you guys like it, like I said, I'll have all these in the comments and annotations and not comments, in the description, so you guys can go and get it. It's a pretty cool connector. You can get it off of Amazon. It looks like this on the bottom. And basically, here's your bolt pattern. You have to, not bolt pattern, but the drill pattern you have to do. And you know, drill these little holes. It doesn't come with screws, so you have to get some screws yourself. And it looks really good. I really like it so far. Okay, so everything is run. Everything's looking good. You know, everything's tucked in.
125 points a game in the 3 losses in Boston.
Everything's tucked in real nice. And we basically have to come up with the negative bus for all these wires to come back and terminate to. Like I said before, instead of terminating on the post, on the battery post, you should come up with something like this. This is what I came up with. This is a very heavy gauge. This is actually 10 gauge wire. So 10 gauge wire coming to my bus, and as you can see, it comes in here. And all your other ones will terminate on these other 4 screws. So all your grounds from all over the boat will come back and terminate on this, and it'll go back on this to the ground terminal, or the negative terminal on the battery. Okay, so once you gotta build something like this, and then you have to think about mounting it in here, something like that. So you have to drill 2 holes right there to mount it. And here's my control panel already in, and that way it's nice and neat setup. And then we can basically just cut these short and put our terminals, our not terminals, but our it's going to be our spade connectors for the power, which will plug into here for the individual accessory that we want. And on the negative side of that wire, we're going to put a ring terminal, and they're just going to terminate right on this. And that should be it. That should be the whole setup, the whole system. Here's a cool tip that I've been doing for a while. So after you get it all wired up, right, and all the wires are here, and in my case, you're running cables that look exactly the same. Now, for the most part, if you're getting this from a manufacturer, they probably, or hopefully, they won't give you the same colors because it'll be easier to track. But it's simple to kind of find out which pair is wired to what. So right now, I know that these two, one of them is going to the bilge pump, and one of them is going into the back 360 light. So what I've done in the past is I've used this. Instead of wiring everything up and flipping switches to make sure things work, I picked this up from my mechanic guys. And even a little 9-volt battery can turn things on and off, even though they're rated 12 volts. So what I do is I just basically wire them up and see what turns on and what doesn't turn on. So right now I'm trying to find the bilge pump. So the bilge pump should make a pumping sound. See, nothing. That means that's not the bilge pump. That's gonna be the light. See that? You hear that? That's the bilge. So what we're gonna do for now is we're actually gonna wire this one up first. This set we're gonna wire it first. This set we have to run parallel with the other light from the front deck. So easiest way to do that is just to curl it up like that. And there you go. That's how you find out which one's which. Alright guys, everything is wired up, and I'll clean it up a little bit more, but that's pretty much the way it's going to look like. Show you guys the ground here, and then I got a bunch of the wires over here, but basically all these other ones are going to attach to the battery terminals, and that's pretty much it. So that's gonna be the whole project, and I'll demo it how it works here in a little bit. Alright guys, I am pretty much done with this project. I'll show you guys how it works, how it's supposed to work. I'll probably wash it up and take it outside and wash it up even more, probably vacuum it. There's a lot of random trash and stuff in here, so clean it up and I'll show you guys. It's actually pretty cool. Okay, just want to show how the fish finder's working. The lights are working. Lights that need to be replaced is working. We got the navigation lights. Navigation light needs to be turned back and the screwed down. That's working. The back navigation light is working. And the power pole. Power pole's working. Green light blinking means it's working. So actually, you can come around. I'll give you an idea of what the wiring used to look like compared to what it looks like now. So this is my power pole wiring. See how bad it used to look like? I had to go from a male to a female connector. That's I don't want to talk about that. But now look at how it's wired up. It's like this. Comes into a connector. It's real nice. Goes down here. It's real nice. I'll probably have to wind this up and just clip it somewhere. Clip it somewhere if I'm using it on the boat. If I use it on the kayak, I can transfer it. But that's how it is. So throw that away. Nice and clean look. Clean look is always the best look. This is how the battery looks. Any of you guys want close up? Looks like that, and come around the other side so you guys can see. That's everything right there. Like I said, I'll probably zip tie it a little bit more, but the other thing is the more carried away with the zip tie you get, the harder it's gonna diagnose stuff if shit goes wrong. So there it is. I got trolling motor, charger, and so let me explain. That is the trolling motor line, that is the charger line for the onboard charger, and that's accessories, which is what we've been working on. Same thing on the other side. It's got 3 connections on it, and like I said, all my grounds come from here, and I still got one more spare I did not plug in yet, so I can use it for other things. But just to show you guys what's going on. The lights. We have bilge pump. You guys can hear it. It's going. That's the bilge. This one is the power pole, and that's the front light. And of course, you got. This is something that a lot of people want to see. Is just the battery voltage, the readout on it. Currently, if you turn everything off, it's still on. So I'm probably gonna have to wire up a master switch. That could be a different video coming up. I'll probably have to put a master switch, because if you don't, then you physically have to go and disconnect the cables. You physically have to turn that one, and that's not always cool to do. So probably gotta put in a master switch. I was looking for an inline switch, but I couldn't find it, at least at the auto parts store. So we're gonna have to just run it the way it is right now. If I do get a master switch, I'll probably put it kind of in this area too, because I gotta cover up these holes. Those screws are kind of awful. But that's it, man. I hope that helps and give you guys out a lot. I know it took me a lot of thinking to wire it the first time, and this is the second time I've wired this boat. So I decided to do it the right way this time, and it's come out perfect, exactly the way I like it. I mean, except for that, if that would turn off somehow, that would be awesome. But as of right now, it's gonna be as good as it's gonna get. So once again, it's Connery from Out of Work. If you guys like this video, give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you guys like this type of stuff, this rigging type of stuff, let me know, because we still have a lot of stuff we should rig, and it takes a lot of time to get the camera, for someone to help me edit and someone to just basically help me film, because I'm doing all the filming myself right now. So if you guys like this stuff, let me know, and we'll do more of it. All right.